So I'm Jielianne Rodriguez. I'm currently a junior at School for Advanced Studies, Kendall campus.
All right, thank you. Um, so I guess the first thing I like to ask is like kind of what happened that made you realize that you needed our service.
So it hit me that my SAT scores weren't really weren't good enough for what I wanted. I wanted to achieve bright futures. And so I was doing practice by myself and I realized that it wasn't helping. And so that's when I knew that I needed to get some help for sure.
So I'm assuming this was when you took the PSAT,
Yeah.
you didn't get the score you wanted, or like I guess close to it.
Yeah.
Um, and when you say you try to practice on your own, what did you try, I guess, to
Oh,
bump your score up?
my teachers recommended me to do Khan Academy,
Okay.
but honestly, that wasn't doing much for me. And then I bought like test prep books, but I can't really learn out of a book, like it wasn't really helpful at all. Like it was kind of insufficient just reading.
Got you. Like the College Board books and
Yeah, I think I brought the Princeton review and
okay.
yeah.
And so like you tried to study that for like a little while. Like when did you realize like nah, it's not gonna work?
I realized it this year. It hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's my junior year. Like I should really be putting in more effort. And so I was like, that's when I decided to reach out and get some help.
Okay. And actually, if I forgot to ask, when you got your like PSAT score or whatever, and you weren't like happy with it, I mean, were you surprised with the score at all?
Honestly, I was because I've always been ahead in math and I've always done pretty well in math. And then to see like my score be that low, in my opinion, I was kind of shocked.
What like how ahead in math are you? Like what math class are you in?
I'm currently in AP Calculus, AB. So,
Yeah, I
I,
mean,
I thought I'd do better. Yeah.
you're definitely advanced. I mean, you're like 2 years ahead.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think it was, to be honest?
Honestly, so I think my problem was that in middle school, it was like during the pandemic and stuff. So I forgot all of like the basic math skills like algebra 1 and geometry and stuff. And since I was so ahead, I was only paying attention to like what I was learning at the moment and not what I had done years before.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's no calculus on
Yeah,
on the SAT. Very little pre-cal too. I mean, to an extent. So that makes sense. Okay. And also, I guess for you personally, why did you need to increase your score?
so my goal was to get 100% Florida Bright Futures.
Okay.
And so I wanted to at least achieve the minimum score to get that.
Nice. Okay. Cool. I think we did.
Yes, we do.
And okay, so then all right, so you needed some help, and then how'd you guys find out about us?
So my friend, I saw her repost her score after she did tutoring with you guys, and I was like, wow, that's an amazing score. And so I asked her about it in school, and she was like, yeah, like I did it with Piece of Pie. And so that's when I decided to message you guys and, get some help.
Who was your friend again?
Elizabeth Varela.
Nice. Okay, cool. Awesome. Passing it down. That's great. Um, all right. And then, all right. Well, so she told us about, or she told you about us, and then you reached out. Um, when you reached out at first, was there, I mean, were you apprehensive at all about the virtual group learning environment?
Yeah, I was a little scared and hesitant because I wasn't sure how virtual learning would compare to like physical tutoring and stuff like face to face. And so I wasn't sure how it would be, but I just decided to trust my gut and just do it.
And I guess what was your experience? Like, how did it, and like even more, like how did it relate to or compare to the pandemic?
Honestly, like I thought it would be like the pandemic. I was really like I thought it'd be boring and like really slow, but when I was there, it was actually really fun. The tutors are they're super welcoming and like they're not judgmental whatsoever when you have a question. So you can just ask whatever, like for me, it was kind of embarrassing when I would get a question wrong and they'd call you out and stuff. But I feel like that was the biggest part of the learning experience, like realizing what you're doing wrong. And like when one person would do something wrong, we're probably all doing it wrong as well. So it was just a good environment to learn in, like when you're as a group together.
That's cool. Wait, who was your tutor? Did you have one main one or did it switch a little bit?
No, I had Corey for the whole session.
Cool. I'll let her know. That's great. And Grace, how about you? Like coming in, were you apprehensive about that at all, or not really?
Yeah, like what you mentioned earlier, she's always been studious, right? And really good at math. So when when the PSAT scores came out, I'm a little bit, but I have an understanding too of the scope for the SATs is much bigger than, than what they're like basically their foundation in math. And I know that she did struggle a lot during the pandemic with virtual learning, right? And my worry before is if it's going to be virtual learning, how much is it is this is was she really going to retain, right? But I've seen definitely there's a lot of effort and work and pressure. Let's say it like there's a lot of pressure that needs to be put in there. There are times that, I would see her really struggle, right? Balancing things between school and the reviews for SATs because she has pretty heavy workload in school too with her AP classes. But it definitely pays, it definitely paid off. And I think it teaches the kids to be more responsible, right? On their schedule and not just on the schedule, on making sure that, things they have like things in line and submitted, the assignments are submitted in a timely manner, because I would receive the messages from the team too that this is due. And uh, it was really at first I and I'm being very honest, I thought she's gonna get overwhelmed, right? Because the workload is very heavy on both sides. It's heavy on the SAT review. It's also heavy on her school stuffs. But that's good because that is getting them ready to be out there for college, for the real world. That's how it is. That's really how it is. Even at my job, right? That then you have to learn how to multitask. You have to learn how to manage your time. You need to learn how to deal with pressure, right? And I think that's the biggest takeaway also from her doing the review is, yes, it was hard at first, but eventually you'll find your rhythm, right? And I really do appreciate the intense coaching with the kids. I'm not saying that how will I put it? I'm not saying that because in an environment that, in the world that we're living now, it's not with the how will I put it? I don't want to say that it's entitlement, right? But you see with the sensitivity with how some of the kids are, right? And I think teaching them that you're responsible for this, that you really need to be on top of your things, right? That you really need to be, a responsible person. This experience with you guys was definitely helpful and a very big factor to her success.
Yeah, I mean, they got to take responsibility. I
Yeah.
think you said it well. You said it way better. That was awesome.
And I was
Yeah,
trying to be, because, and I'm not putting anyone down, right? But I'm being very honest. Some of the kids right now are very sensitive. Oh, you cannot say that. Oh, that is too much for me. But you need to be responsible. I am not gonna be here forever. So you're gonna go out there. You're gonna put yourself in the world, and you're gonna be in college. You're gonna have a job in the future. So
it's your life, right? Like, I mean, we're on the same page, Grace. I mean, you probably already knew that because of how we do things. So
Yeah.
yeah, the way I look at it is, and you know, in our program, I mean, we tell the kids up front, like, listen, it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but that's just the reality of how it has. Like for what the students always come in wanting, right? Like, oh, I want to go up 200 points, 300. I'm like, listen, that's not easy.
Yeah.
It's possible, and you can do it,
Yep.
but just be ready, you know. And that's how college was when I went up when I went up north to Cornell. It was not, it was away from home. It was cold and it was difficult. Like all three.
It's the same
Um,
thing for me. Same thing for me. I have to leave home to go to college, and it was far away. So you have to learn, right?
yeah, exactly. So all right, awesome. I mean, um, Jillian, how would you describe the service to another student yourself?
Honestly, it's a lot of work. I'm gonna be upfront, like it's a lot of work. You have to plan accordingly. Like you have to schedule out when you're gonna do your homeworks, your practice exams.
Mm.
But honestly, like waking up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday is not easy, but
Mhm.
like in the end it was super worth it. And like 3 hour, 4 hour sessions, it's not easy, but once you're there, you know what you're doing, you get the flow of the math, like to ask questions and stuff. And honestly, the people are super, super, like, it's very, how do I say this, like welcoming. And so, once you're there, like, it feels like just another thing on your to-do list. So it's super, I like it. I really love the environment there.
You better have a to-do list.
Yeah,
Uh,
my to-do list during this,
You better have
like,
a planner. Like,
oh, yeah.
that's what I tell them. That's awesome. All right. What about like I don't know, out of all this, because there was a lot of parts to the program. What were your, top two things that you think helped you the most?
Honestly, my favorite part was, this sounds weird, but it was the practice exams. And I love doing those because I honestly I learned better through that, through like practice tests and stuff. And so seeing like what I was doing wrong and doing better on the next practice exam and seeing that like predicted score, it felt really refreshing and like, wow, like the work I'm putting in is paying off. I think I know what I'm doing. And I also really liked like the extra review sessions, like those were super helpful, getting to ask questions that I wasn't able to earlier and just reviewing all that stuff that I might have forgotten from beforehand,
Yeah, it's a lot of material, so
Yeah.
yeah.
you got to keep reviewing it and reviewing it. Awesome, cool. And I guess I got a question for, I don't know, this is for others who might go through this. Like, how did you manage your workload? What was the secret?
Honestly, I feel like my secret was my to-do list. I carry my to-do list with me everywhere. I have one on my
Yeah.
phone, I have a
Yeah.
physical one. And so I would carry that around and I brought piece of pie with me everywhere. I was in Orlando doing piece of pie. I don't know, I'd be out and I'd be doing like homeworks and stuff. I think honestly, like staying organized is super important. And because like when you're organized, you know what to do. I would do my piece of pie at home. I would do it during school whenever I had free time. And honestly, doing that made the workload a lot easier and not so much pressure where I was doing everything like cramming.
Right. You split it, you spread it out and
Yeah, exactly.
find new ways to get it done. I think that's what I tell the students. Is like, no, you think you don't have time, but I'm telling you, man, like I used to study like or at least in college, I'd study on the way to class, walking to class, or I'm like, oh, I need to get my exercise in. All right, I'm gonna go walk on the treadmill while I study, or
Yeah.
you start finding new ways to fit everything in, So that was awesome. Um, well, yeah. So I guess ultimately, what result did we help you get? What was the final score and like, total improvement?
So my final score was a 770 and it was a 280 improvement from a 490 PSAT. And thanks to you guys, I was able to qualify for 100% Bright Futures. And so it's great to have that weight off my shoulder.
Nice. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm sure your mom's also happy.
Not very.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, How about where do you, so I'm assuming you're gonna stay in Florida, or you're aiming to stay in Florida for schools?
Yeah, my main goal is UF,
Nice.
but UM is also on my another one on my
Right.
list.
Cool. Well, hopefully you have a better shot now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I know UF can be a little weird, and you definitely gotta have a really good essay for UF. I guess nowadays that's for every school, but yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, you're done with it. I mean, are you done taking the test or no?
I still have one in March, like the school-wide one that's required, but it's good to know that I have the math portion done, that I just have to focus on improving in the reading and writing.
Okay. And that one did change. The reading changed a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So my goal is to just study for that.
Yeah. I wonder how that's gonna play out. Did you take the PSAT?
Yes, I took the digital one this year.
Did you do better on that or worse compared to?
I did better in the math portion, but I did worse in the reading section.
Okay. You got to get adjusted.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you never know. If you randomly score higher again in math, it happens. Watch. It has you don't even need to study anymore. I'm telling you. Like, or maybe if you want, take a few practice tests right before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely take the digital practice test. There's like 4 of them.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, I would definitely just do those for sure. And I'm telling you, you never know. We've had kids come back. I mean, one of the kids, they got an 800. Not to say that you need to get an 800, but or like you're good already. Like you're more than good. But it just happened, they got like a 750 after a program, and then they took it again and got a 760, and they took it again and they got an 800. I was like,
Oh,
okay,
that's great.
That's
sounds
great.
good to me. Um, all right, cool. I guess like, is there anything else we should know?
Honestly, I say just do it. Like if you're planning on taking the tutoring, I say just do it. It's super worth it. And I enjoyed my time with Piece of Pie and I'm super grateful for them. So, of
Awesome. Thank you. I
course.
appreciate it. And thank you for being such a hard worker. I know it was not tough. It was not easy for you. It was very tough. I know. I mean, it's always like that. You have the kids who complain when I know they have time, but they can't, and then you have the kids it's always funny. It's always the kids with the most APs that somehow have more time. I never understood. I'm like, how does that make any sense, dude? Like, well, it's I guess you're just the kind of person that sets up to the challenge.
Yeah.
So keep that up and you'll be good no matter where you go.
Thank you.
Focus
All right.
on the goal.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.